This is Audrey Hepburn, a new graphic novel that was released a few months ago by NBM, written by Michele Botton and drawn by Dorilys Giachetto. And I apologize if I mispronounce your names. I speak Spanish, not Italian. I think I got close. This book was interesting to me in that I've become over the years a fan of Audrey Hepburn. My wife loves Audrey Hepburn, so I've seen some of her movies. I've just kind of always been interested in different phases of her life, when starting out as an actress and then becoming a fashion icon and then eventually becoming a spokesman for UNICEF. And so when I saw this, I thought this was really interesting, and I have to tell you, I love this cover. It's just really simple. You have very simple, like, rule of thirds composition here, a lot of negative space. You have the Tiffany blue cover, or very close to Tiffany blue, which is an homage to Breakfast at Tiffany's, but it's also a color that just really works well. It just kind of works well with that elegance and that luxury that she became famous for with her fashion icon status. I just loved this cover now, and I was kind of sold. So this was published last year in 2023 in Italy, and then the English version was published this year. And this is actually a pretty interesting read. I found it hard to put down. The foreword is by Luca Dotti, which is her son from her second marriage. So it got blessing from the family. And what I did find interesting about this book is that the art is not exactly like you would see like in young adult readers type, but it also isn't like for quote unquote adult graphic novels, somewhere in between. But I think it works well with the character and the style of the story and the tone of the story. It starts off where she's with her partner that was with her at the end, last 10, 12 years of her life, talking about, experiences while she was, she's on a mission for UNICEF. And then it just starts off at the beginning of her life. And it really informed me as far as a lot of her upbringing, the movies that she had been in, her start of her career. It was actually very informational, because I was telling my wife about this book and what I learned, and she's like, "You learned that all from the graphic novel?" I said, "Yeah, it's you learn a lot, but it doesn't seem like you're learning a lot. Like, that's how good the writing and the storytelling is, where there's a lot going on and you're absorbing a lot, but it feels really easy to do so." It straddles that line too, from being just really just positive and no warts, to having some warts but not being like a piece to throw her under the bus. They do talk about when she was young, she had an affair with Cornell Wilde and Sabrina, how that didn't work out because she wanted kids and he didn't want kids. So they became friends, but they stayed friends. It talks about some of the challenges she had, being an actress, being young, being, working immediately with Gregory Peck, and then the second movie was with Cornell Wilde and Humphrey Bogart. Just kind of how she navigated that. It spends a lot of time focusing on during the time with her first marriage to Mel Ferrer. It talks about how Givenchy became the, designed for her, and how she just really fit with that brand. So overall, I just thought it was a really interesting story, well drawn, well written, good tone. I think it really conveys her as a believable character, as someone who really, at the end of everything, all she wanted to do at the end was have a family and be married and have children. And the challenges she had, some of the things she had challenges she had during World War II, where she was stuck in Holland and couldn't get out for 4 years until VE Day. And so some of the challenge, some of the depression she had when she lost her first pregnancy, just a lot here. And I think, like I said, they did just a really nice job of capturing her life, her attitude towards things, and her reflections on certain important events. There's certain interesting storytelling choices they made. Like at this point, this is close to the end of her and Melfer's marriage, and they're walking down the street and they're drifting apart. But I love this one scene because they're together walking down the street. Now, most people would just have this as one panel where he's talking to her and she's talking to him, but they split into two panels, and it's almost, to me, it's symbolic of like there's a break in their relationship. And just the way the storytelling conveys that, because they're walking together and then you have the split between the two of them, and then he's slightly ahead of her, and then just this one scene where she's kind of like wants to reach out to him, but she just can't, and it's just not there. She intimates that it's kind of difficult to be the husband of a famous icon like she was, especially when you're very proud. Good actor. His directing career never took off like he wanted it to. Not her fault. He didn't blame her, but I think that stress added a lot of things. Talked about how she played a role as a blind person, so she actually met with the blind, and she actually tried to really learn how to navigate life as a blind person, so she could practice staring straight ahead while she was talking to someone and pouring tea, instead of looking at the person. Because you're blind, you're staring straight ahead because you can't see eyes to connect. Just little things like that I thought were really interesting, that showed that she was a serious actress and that she really did try to get better at her craft and work on her craft, and she took that very seriously. It ends when she's a spokesperson for UNICEF, and it's just a really lovely, fun book. If you're an Audrey Hepburn fan, you definitely will want to read this. If you're just a fan of bio, this is a nice read that when you're reading it, you look at it, it seems lighter than it really is. If that makes any sense. It's just done so nicely that it just goes down really easy, and it's really easy to absorb and lose yourself in this book. And there's a lot going on, but you don't feel like there's so many facts. And that's the hard part about doing bio of a famous person, because there's so many sources and there's so many angles you could take it, that you could exclude a lot and it would seem like it was kind of shallow, but you can include too much and it's like overwhelming. And I think this just hits the right balance between the two. So again, you can get this at your local comic shop. You can get it from NBM. I'm sure you can get it at Barnes & Noble or any major bookseller as well. I like this, and this is just why I'm a big fan of European graphic novels when they're translated in English. And I like the classics, but I like it when current graphic novels are translated. The Europeans just have a way with doing graphic novels that not everybody, I think, that's in America that does it really can just mimic. But it's just a very solid book. So if you have any questions, let me know. Again, I just think it's a great read. Thanks.